Hello everyone, I welcome you to another episode of that show you've been waiting for. Not religious but reality. That show where we dress on topical issues that unveils reality about life, reality about our existence, why we are here, what we are created for, why discovery is key, why it's very dangerous for not knowing who you are. My name is Anyobisi Anyobi Anyoshiji. I'm still your host on this show. Before I begin to today's show, I give a very big thank you to many of you who have been subscribing to this YouTube channel. And I say a very big thank you to you all because with God and you are the one who kept us going. Without you, there's nothing we can do. And as well, I appreciate the effort of Sound of Human Media Concept. They've been there all this while, supporting us one way or the other. I pray to all my listeners, to you watching me out there, that God, in His infinite mercy, will always grant all your effort and will never forsake you. Olodumare will listen to us all and will lead us to our rightful path. However, let me begin today's show by saying a very big thank you to those who criticize us, those who fight us, those who labeled us, those who try to make sure this show never exists because they believe that liberation of humanity reduces their bank account and it's totally preventing them from using those watching my show and a few other shows like this as bait. I know, and I'm very sure, Olodumare is seated above, watching all mankind. A day of reckoning has come. Besides, I'm just really proud representing Earth and humanity at large. I'm really proud. Therefore, be warned. Be warned. Before I delve on today's topic, permit me to go on this quick little short break. When I'm back, we'll discuss much more better. Stick around, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. You welcome back. Today, there's this thing a lot of people do deliberate among themselves, mostly those who conduct some one or two spiritual cleansing, one of which is known as deliverance. Deliverance is a kind of spiritual cleansing that has its own process. And for every deliverance, there must be a purpose. And what are these purposes are? Mostly, they are not known, they are not recognized by the person who is carrying out the deliverance section. But mostly, other way around, is not known by the person, the try to carry deliverance upon. But however, there are things needed to be put together before we can achieve a greater result if truly you want to conduct a deliverance. And what are those things? Let's look at this from this angle. Two people offended an elderly person and they were asked to go and beg. The first one got there and they just prostrated. The way he or she speaks will tell you categorically that you are convinced within yourself that a lot of things has gone within that person who is trying to beg, who is trying to do some one or two things as an apology. You will know within you that yes, he's truly sorry for what he or she did. And left to the other person, the way he or she might speak, you will deduce from that speech that this person is filled or she's filled with the arrogancy trait he or she might be portraying. But whichever way, what I'm trying to pick out from this analogy is based on the conviction. It's based on the conviction you have towards whoever is coming to plead or whatever surrounds every circumstances that might go on this route. Now, how do I mean? To prepare proper deliverance, there are ways and there is how you nurture some processes. If not properly taken care of, you won't get a good result. Now, listen. The person that wanted to be delivered must have this, submissiveness, must be convinced, must be, totally let go of the circumstances that surround why being delivered. Yes. If not, if the person is not totally submissive, totally let go of what he felt might be holding him or her down, the deliverance, no matter who is trying to conduct this deliverance, it will just be vain. No matter how spiritual you think that person is, no matter, it will not work. I'm sure you must have heard of this, that it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. If I never agreed with you, some things will not work. A lot of things will not work. Let me put it that way. A lot of things will not work. But in most religions today, there's this non-connectivity. And you just let go of. You think you are filled with one or two spiritual power. Let me say one or two gifts. Forgetting the fact that even within the spiritual realm, there must be this kind of connectivity before you can break or lose or take something away from there. Take that from me. According to the topic of this show, this is not about religion, but it's just the reality aspect of it. And to lessen your burden, to lessen your stress, I'm sure most of this I'm about to dish out, you must have not heard it from anywhere before. I might not be a Christian, I might not be a Muslim, I might not belong to any other religion you think of such. I believe in African tradition. I believe in, it's not that we worship Ifa. It's not what you can worship, but you just believe in his kind of ideology and framework. Because when you begin to resonate with the circle of life, you will know that it's not a mere joke. God's existence, His power is beyond what you see. It's beyond a lot of religion. Let me put it that way. It's beyond a lot. You see, it takes you that is spiritual to understand some logical things. It's not what you can just say, oh, I've heard it all. No. It goes deeper beyond that. But if you are not seeing, you might be thinking other way around. But still, you are still referring to this same thing. When Jesus Christ, according to what I read, when he was on earth, a lot of people never accept his ideology. They never believed in him. They never believed in his teachings. When Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he was on earth as well, a lot of people at initial stage never agree. They never concur with his teachings. But who are those that did? Those are the few people who pick some one or two things from what he's trying to put together. You people come. This and this is what you can put together to achieve this. To be candid, it works for some people, and to some people, it never did. Now listen, look at what I'm doing today. It takes the fearless to speak the truth. You see, African tradition religion is a kind of religion that it teaches in depth beyond what a lot of religion do. It's not that one religion is better than the other. Now, no, let's not be sentimental, but there are a lot of in-depth, there are a lot of secrets you needed to know to balance and to shape your life. It's not by force, but it's just by choice. You see, this world we all live in, there are a lot of things in it. There are a lot of things. Otherwise, when you begin to run from elders to pillar to post, you miss a lot because you don't understand. You see, God's ways is far, far different from our thinking. It's not that I'm trying to put my religion over yours. No, I will never do that. This is where I get disconnected with with a lot of religious leaders. Let me put it that way. 75% of them, not all, but 75% of them. You see, they try to project these messages out. And they try to categorically speak as if they were there when these things are happening. It's a big lie. That is where they missed it. You read most of these things, you combine some one or two things together. But it doesn't mean it will work for you. It doesn't mean it will work for you. You see, what I'm discussing now, when you watch these teachings, over and over again. You don't need to fight me, quarrel with me. All you needed to do is just sit down and ponder about it. Where humanity missed the whole thing is just that the inability to think, the inability to reason, the inability to say, is this good or not? Does this work for me or not? Nobody is trying to. I, for one, I would never force anybody to do anything. But all I'm here to say is just that let's preach peace. Let's live in harmony. Don't tell me or don't tell anybody you will go to hell, you will go to heaven, you will go to. It takes only the grace of the Almighty God. It is only Olodumare that can interpret a lot of things, because this world you and I live in is full of mystery. Now, to cut the long story short, not to digress far on what I'm about to treat now, proper counseling is the number one key point you needed to do before conducting a good and a successful deliverance. Proper counseling is needed. You see, if you fail to do a proper counseling, you will not have a good result. That is number one. Proper counseling is needed. Now, you need some kind of interactive session between you and who is about to get delivered. That will give you some benefits and angles to know which way, why this person is being afflicted with this, or why he finds pleasure in what he's doing. Because a lot of people find pleasure in a lot of things, and you cannot just imagine that why these things are happening. You are not God. And like most I do say, a lot of people find themselves in a situation they never bargained for. But how dare you? There are things you can't fight. That is why we keep saying, and I keep pondering on it, that just allow past to remain in the past. Now, what is the number two things you need to do if truly you are moving in the right direction? Number two thing is total conviction. Total conviction. If you are convinced that this person is, really flowing with you, you will have less burden. You won't be stressed much like that. At the means of the interactive session, if you are good in spirit, if you have that good connectivity, that spirit that descends, you'll be able to balance on one or two things. Someone asked me one day, and he said, are you in one way or the other learn most of these things you do, most of this, how you discuss with people, how you advise and nurture? I said, I never learned anything from anywhere. Like I said in some of my previous videos, right from childhood, it's just God, because He knew why every gift is given to mankind. God knows why all those things are like that, and it's for a purpose. If you don't know, you don't know. if you don't unlock, you can't discover anything. That's another topic for another day. Now, number 3 things you need to do is proper assessment. You see why I said it's a process. Proper assessment. If you are not doing this for the benefit of just collecting people's money, you leverage on their inability to do one or two things, you begin to tell them what you don't have. In different religious houses, these things do happen. But the funniest thing of it all is that most people tend to stay too long in a place, hoping that, God will do it, God will do it, God will do it. I'm not saying God will not do it. But are you at the right place at the right time? Is a deep question. Are you at the right place at the right time? You see, no law that asks you not to try or give other angles to provide a solution. And where does this solution come from? It's from the Most High. But like I said earlier, where most people missed these things is inability to think. I told you, I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Muslim. But what I read from both Christianity and Islam and some other religious beliefs books that guides them, I see some facts based on different kind of authors that put these things together. No man had ever seen God. No man. Like I said, when I'm no more on earth, do you know it is possible some people might key into one or two things I do today and make it their source of income? It is 100% possible. Please, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear fathers and mothers, ladies and gentlemen at home watching me, it saddens my heart when I see people falling prey. A lot of people call me, they just look at you, or we might have come in contact one way or the other and say, you this guy, God is really using you. Some might call you prophet, some might call different kinds of names, and I keep telling them, it's just a gift. Thank God I'm using it right. And I think it should be applicable to every kind of religion we think we practice. But here we are. I do say, this is Africa. Don't be deceived. We are not in the white man's land. This is Africa. That is why a lot of people call me the true blunt prolific music town crier. I'm an artist as well. But you see, when you tell people some one or two things, mostly I don't argue with them much, because the environment they are in is not where they ought to be. A lot of things do go wrong spiritually. You don't know, because you keep saying you are worshiping. You don't know. You keep saying you are worshiping. A lot of things is going behind you. But I said it, that it takes only the deep to call unto the deep. If you don't know, you can't know. And if you don't try to know, you won't know. You just remain there like a stagnant water. See, God has done everything perfectly. Now, the fourth thing you need to do if you really want to achieve a better deliverance is the controlling ability. The controlling ability, which is, should I say, the power or the gift to do this. A lot of people do go to theology school, they learn, missionary school, to learn a lot of tactics. What you don't have, you can't give. Take it or leave it. What you don't have, you can't give. Because why? The simple reason is that they begin to look for one way or another, one power or source to make things work. You know the funniest part of it? Most of these powers, they source it out from the, should I say, some traditional worshippers as well. The bad eggs, yes, the bad eggs. When this power is being given to them, they begin to use it anyhow. And most of this power, they have the kind of rules and regulations that guide them. That is why I said a lot of things is going on, even in spiritual realm, not to talk of the physical realm, but you won't know because you are not care to know. Even though every source is from God, He knows about everything, but the application of things is what is causing problem, what is causing chaos. When your gift is natural, you don't need to fight a lot of things. You don't just need it. But you just imagine you trying to become someone else. You know it's a big task. It's a big task. Like my teaching today, you just want to go and learn it. See, you might say, we have a lot of people who do learn and they come out good. It works for them. See, let me tell you this if you don't know. Probably it is their line. It is what they ought to do, but they don't know. But one way or the other, when life begins to total you left and right, front and back, it helps some people. You will fall at the right path in the midst of tribulation. Mostly it happens like that. And at the end of the day, you just give glory to God. Oh, wow, God, at last. But compared to somebody who had known from the onset that this is where this thing ought to be. You see, the margin is much. Now, let me resuscitate on what I discussed earlier. I said the first thing is proper counseling. Second thing is proper assessment. Third thing is total conviction. And the fourth one is controlling ability, which is the power, the gift to dissect, to perform this thing. And to person who this thing is, perfected on, he or she will just take you as wow, you are God, but mind you, you are not God, but just a mere vessel in the hands of the Most High. And that is what I have. I'm just in the midst of people. I don't want anybody to know me. That is the kind of person I am. I don't just like it. I don't just like it. I don't like it because 85% of people who do what I'm doing, who are gifted, let me put it that way. There's this thing, I don't know how to put it now. There's this thing that has to do with, there's this trait of show off. There's this trait of show off, and they use this and they leverage on people's challenges, to do some one or two things. It's left to you, it's choice. But I won't blame most people because they needed miracle. They want things just to happen, either by hook or crook. Anyway, let me leave that to God. He only can decide. And I pray that Olodumare, the Most High God, the Spirit that sees everything, that oversees heaven and earth, that takes charge when it ought to, will give us success in every positive angle of our life. Besides, I don't need everybody to listen or watch this show, but it requires only the few who are willing to be free from the shackles and bondage of the so-called today's religious fanatics, tyrant, extremists, evil geniuses we see around us in this present day, because it takes only the deep to call it unto the deep. Here is where I'll be drawing the curtain on today's show. Kindly subscribe to this channel, drop your comment, share it, like it, and give us some thumbs up just to help our YouTube algorithm. Remember, the level of your race in life depends on the kind of animal chasing you. Never fall prey. See you next time. Bye for now.